One of the number one things an Asian person fears is failure. The second thing is merging onto a busy freeway. I remember when I took my driving test in high school, I passed with a 91 out of 100. Unfortunately, the first thing my Filipino mom told me was, a 91? That's not even an A. At the time, I thought she was joking, but to this day, I can tell she doesn't trust my driving skills still, based on how hard she clutches the handle above the passenger window. My dad was actually the person who taught me how to drive. He let me drive home from school while he micromanaged my steering and yelled at me when we missed our exit. It was always, your music's too loud, your turn was too sharp, or you accidentally reversed into the car behind you and you tried to get away, except there was a police car around the corner. God, I'm not going to be perfect, Dad. Even though I got my license at 16, I still had my parents drive me around for an extra year. I was afraid of getting a ticket, I was afraid of crashing my car, and I was afraid of going to jail. My biggest fear wasn't driving, my biggest fear was failing. I switched Seattle cars for subway cars when I moved here for college. My fear for failure only grew during my studies. As a Fordham undergrad, I was an active member of the school. I was a resident assistant on Rose Hill's campus, the cultural director of Rose Hill's Filipino Club FUPOC, a member of Rose Hill's hip-hop dance team Flava, and the choreographer for Rose Hill's theater program, Mimes and Mummers. Alongside these commitments, I took on 4 summer internships. I was a photo assistant at Madonna, New York, a videographer at WFUV Public Radio, a styling assistant in New York Fashion Week, and a production intern for the Wendy Williams.
Ooh, resume.
You know who she is. With a resume that I thought was bulletproof, I made it to the final round of a GQ magazine interview. I thought to myself, this is it. Everything I worked so hard for has led up to this moment. Unfortunately, I was rejected. I applied to 200 jobs after graduation just to be met with a dead end every time. How was I going to live out the Jesuit saying, go forth and set the world on fire? If every rejection felt like another red light, I started to feel sad. No, this feeling was a lot heavier than sadness. What I was feeling was grief. I was grieving the carefree fun I used to have as a teen, and I was grieving the successful version of myself that I didn't become. I had no choice but to live with my parents again. Every morning felt mundane in Seattle. Most days I sulked around in my childhood bedroom, doom scrolling on LinkedIn. I saw former classmates becoming PAs for Netflix and producers for Paramount, and I was just unemployed. I decided enough was enough. I refused to sit idle and decay my dreams, so I packed my bags and moved back to New York. I had no job and I didn't know my roommates. But if my mom could immigrate across the globe and follow her American dream, then I could fly across the country and follow mine. I ended up landing a job as a stock associate in luxury retail, though I originally applied to be a stylist assistant. I wanted to be the next Law Roach styling his Zendaya, but I ended up in the back, packing clothes, lifting boxes, and shipping shoes. I quickly realized I was the only queer person and person of color working in that store, which was a heavier load to carry than all of the weight of the boxes that I was stacking. I noticed how anytime a stylist position did open up, there was always someone who fit the brand better than me, who got the job first. And when more and more employees eventually did start to look like me, my manager conveniently decided to restructure the store and fire all of us within the same week. I was 24 when I left that job. I had no plan once again. Back to square one. You're in a dead end, Jeffrey, and your parents aren't in the passenger seat anymore telling you what to do. You have failed. You are exactly at the place you worked hard not to be. Some degree, right? $280,000 in 4 long years leading up to this. It was after drunk crying on the subway one night where I decided I needed to find a therapist. In one session, she asked me, when will you be enough for yourself? When will you be enough for yourself? I responded to her, when I'm successful, when I achieve my goals. When we graduate, we're told we're going to do amazing things, that people can't wait to see what we do and how far we go. But the truth is, you won't do amazing things, not all the time, that is. In fact, most of your life will be trial and error. Rejection, grief, envy, and loneliness. All of these things will feel like failure. But that's that's just how the amazing things start. For most of my life, I was taught to fear failure, that it is easier to stay off the roads than not know what to do once you're on them. I was taught that the destination is only one direction, but in the real world, you often reroute. You might miss your exit and some bridges might be closed, but all of the rejection is just redirection. I redirected my life path when I moved back to New York by myself. I redirected my career when last year I took a chance and started teaching dance classes on my own. One class became 37 and 10 students became over 300. Classes redirected into national tours, and national tours redirected into music videos. I redirected the experience of censorship on my first fashion show into inspiration for creating a radically loud and unapologetically authentic fashion brand. I redirected my setbacks into success. But success doesn't always mean happily ever after. You will be met with failure time and time again. After every green light, you will face 100 red ones. There will be tears and there will be doubt, but there will also always be hope. You will get to where you need to be, even if it looks different than expected. Be open to changing your destination. Redirect your thinking, redirect your placement. Being fun employed for 5 months wasn't laziness. It was rest, it was freedom, it was growth. It was me embracing my choice, it was me regaining my agency. I was creatively and emotionally transforming. I realized I didn't always need to speed through life. Sometimes I need to just let life pass through me. Redirection can happen to you, and it can also be a choice that you make towards doing amazing things. So here we are. Now you graduate. You no longer have people telling you what to do. How scary. Redirect that. You no longer have people telling you what to do. How liberating. At the end of the day, this is your life. It is not your mom's, it is not your boss's, and it is not your government's. There are going to be a lot of people who do not see your self-worth. There are also going to be a lot of people who do. You will survive the trials and tribulations that adult life throws at you because you come from a long line of survivors. Your existence is proof of how far people can go, how far those before you have come, and how far you have come for yourself. So if you find yourself contemplating who you are and what your purpose is, remember that above all, you are enough. You were born from perseverance and raised in resilience. You are the American dream. Maybe like me, your upbringing was full of pressure and yelling and stop making so many sharp turns. But if we redirect that thinking, maybe it was also full of love. Maybe we can learn from the past. Maybe we can even embrace our own uncertain futures. My message to my fellow APIDA graduates is this. You are a failure. You will wear that cap and gown thinking you're armed with success, but you will fumble that MCAT, you will get wrinkles, and you will get fired from your job. You will feel sad, you will feel envious and lonely, and you will feel rejection. But you will also change for the better. You will be hopeful, you will become a risk taker, you will evolve and become more you than you could have ever imagined. All of the things you love now and all of the great things that you are will only continue to grow into a more powerful, wiser, confident version of you. You're not going to get to your destination in 20 minutes. When met with another dead end, just get back into the car and hit the roads again. Even if that means you have to sit in the driveway for a little bit and pick the right playlist. Whatever you face in the adult world, whatever direction you choose to go in, know you will get through the hardship because you have done it before. Your ancestors have done it before. It is literally in your blood. Be brave and allow yourself to fail. Allow yourself to simply exist and embrace all of life's struggles when the never-ending work machine tries to tell you otherwise. Fail to set the world on fire, Fordham. Just make sure to go for it. Happy Asian Pacific Islander does the American Month, and congratulations to the class of 2025.